that while I go through this life, I'm going through having the inclination that I have a purpose in life, and I'm deeming it special that I will have to fulfill purpose. That then brings me to questions. That's why I have questions. And the questions I have: is my life purpose driven? Is it purpose driven? You can ask yourself that. Is my life purpose driven? And you take a minute to pause there to ask yourself, is my life purpose driven? Is there a purpose to my life? Am I just floating through here without a purpose? Is there a purpose to my life? What is my purpose in life? What is it? Is it relevant? Is there anything to it? Is it relevant? Is it something that I should know, or should I bother to even worry whether I know that there's a purpose in my life? Is it important? Does it matter to me to pursue my purpose in life? Does it even matter? Does it matter? I really care? Should I really care whether I fulfill my purpose in life, or I just go on until it's over and don't worry about it until it ends, until I come to the end of the road, where the road ends? Do I just let it go on and just let it go on like a colossal machine, and as it ends, and don't worry about it? Or is it necessary for me to know the mission and the purpose that I have in life, so that if there's something that I must do before I get out of here, I do it, because somebody will be responsible for something after I leave here? So do I call to this and say, am I purpose driven? Am I driven with a purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Sometimes we see people that are purpose driven, and some people are just non-purpose driven. They have no, it's like there's no drive. Have you had somebody that you're dealing with that there is no motivation? You're just blah. There's no motivation. There's nothing you can get them even to get them mad. They're just it's like they're, don't bother me, and it's just like that. They are not compatible to people who are purpose driven. And so sometimes when you are purpose driven and you have somebody attached to you who are non-purpose driven, it seems like your life is being held back, and sometimes you try to make one step forward, and as if you're stepping forward, but you're actually stepping backward, because there's a force drawing you back. And when you would forge ahead, someone that is not motivated at all, that doesn't even seem like they're going anywhere and want to go anywhere, they're pulling on you. And when you think that you're going forward, you're stepping all right, but each step you take, you're going backwards and thinking that you're going forward. It's time sometimes to let loose here, so I can go forward in life, because you can't take me anywhere when I am purpose driven and you are not. So I got to watch the people that is attached to me, and the ones that I hold on to, because if I am purpose driven and you are not purpose driven, then when I move and expect you to move, I'm looking back and thinking that you're there with me. I find out that instead of motivating me, you demotivates me. It's bad sometimes to deal with negative people. Everything is negative, and you could come in with the best of day and have all the nice thing and with expectation, and here's my dream, and all of a sudden you dropped it out there and they caught it and put it to the ground and just step on it. Oh, you can't do that, baby. Reality is not going to happen. But I am purpose driven. Look at somebody, just tell them, I'm purpose driven. I ain't got a purpose in life, and I'm going to fulfill it. I'm going to fulfill it. So I'm dealing with this now, dealing with the question of purpose-driven person is a challenging thing indeed. It's challenging. It's a mission of purpose, and it's not always easy. It's not always easy for me to drive to here and take the next road and get on down there and make a right. And it's not always like that. Sometimes you're going to face with roadblocks, and you're going to have disgruntled times, and you're going to face with all kinds of fear and frustration. You're going to have times when you don't even know what to do, and sometimes you are going to even face with sadness and don't even know how to shake it. But because you're purpose driven, you will not be held captive by anything, because you know your role is important. And because my role is important, I've got to identify what I've got to do. I got to do these things. So when I identify a person that is purpose driven, I realize they are totally opposite of the non-purpose driven person. I told you this, very opposite. A purpose driven and a non-purpose driven, they are very opposite. One has a vision and the other is visionless. One have a mission and the other one has no mission, and they're journeying, and sometimes you come to a place of not knowing what to do because you're dealing with someone that doesn't have a mission. In the journey to fulfill purpose, we understand that we're traveling in a road, and it's not always an easy road to travel. Somebody said it's a hard road. It's a dangerous road, and sometimes you get discouraged at times. But so now I'm aware of the purpose, and when I'm aware of the purpose, I realize even though I don't see it, I understand that it's there, and I got to fulfill it. If I should talk to you a little bit metaphorically now and speak to you of the personification of what a purpose-driven person would look like, I would say that she described her there. I would say that she is courageous, and she's appealing, eye-catching. She's special, and she's smart. Along with her attributes, I could see her now have great character, and she's strong, and she's visible, and she's vigilant, and she stands with self-motivation, and she's God-centered, and have a mindset of always busy doing something for God. And they are not only holding back, but they're going forward even though they may not know what to do. I see them acting wisely, and don't act as a fool, and don't act as if they don't know what to do. Here we can see them that they're stable, and the stability is that they will stand even in the face of adversity. They're not here today and gone tomorrow. They're standing, and they're strong in their disposition, purpose driven. She's beautiful, and she's very obedient, and she's dependable, and she's strong, and derive motives, and has passion, and possess strong ability to do what God called him to do. And sometimes when it gets hard, they will still stand. Even the hard time doesn't matter, because they're purpose driven, and they will not be drawn away by Satan, and Satan can't diffuse them, and they cannot be confused by Satan's tactics, because they're purpose driven. And whatever it takes, they'll stand in your face and let you know, I'm not backing down, because I realize there's something for me to gain, and I'm going to gain it. So a purpose driven person will stand their ground even in the face of adversity. When it gets hard and no one wants to stand, a purpose driven person will stand and let you know, I'm walking, and I'm walking by faith and not by sight. Purpose driven person is a mission, and that mission is of Christ-centered mission, not only of my own thoughts and my own disposition, but a Christ-centered mission. It's not like the humanistic-centered mission of man's mission, because when I deal with this, I deal with two purpose-driven. One is purpose-driven, that is divinely purpose driven, and when it's a divine purpose of God, you will stand even in the face of adversity. But when it's humanistic, I'll stand only when I feel like it. And so now I'm self-motivated because it's humanistic. And because of this, I have a purpose, but it's directed towards man, and it's always about me. It's generally motivated by greed. It's motivated by self-gratification, selfishness. It's have a self-tendency of my humanity. How can I satisfy or gratify me? That's not a motivated person that is purpose driven. It's all about me, and if it's not about me, ain't nothing going down. That's not a purpose driven person. And so then that person is carnally minded, have a tendency of only want things to go their way. But I heard Solomon, he speaks to us, the wise man. He was the richest man on earth. Wise. He had three dynamics that all of us look for. He was wise, he was rich, and he has authority. And with these three dynamics, most of us are still striving for that. And I heard him when he said, he speaks to one that is looking to achieve things, that thinking that my purpose is to achieve. And they think that if I get a house, if I get all the qualities, then I'm all right. But I heard him look upon everything after he had gained everything. He had riches, he had authority, and he had wisdom. But he looked out there and he said, vanity of vanity, saith the preacher. All is vanity. And so let me tell you something. Money is vanity. Things are vanity. And I'm not talking down things, because I want to let you know it's good to have things. But my purpose in life is not to gain things and lose God. And so now he said, vanity of vanity, saith the preacher, all is vanity. And then he said, what hath it profit a man of all his labor which is taketh under the sun? And Solomon is now asking the question, and he asked it also in chapters 12 verse 13 and 14. He said, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. And the conclusion of the personification is, let us fear God and keep his commandments. That's my purpose. All we have to do is to fear God and keep his commandments. It doesn't matter how bad you are. If you lack the fear of God and the commandment of God, you have missed your purpose in life. Yes. So a true purpose-driven person is a mission of life driven by the divine, and is now going forward to fulfill what God promised us. It was even with Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 16. He said, for which cause we faint not, but through our earthly man, our outer man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affection, which is but for a moment, worketh for a far more excellent things of God. And so no, I'm not looking on the outward. I'm not looking at the natural. I'm looking at what God is doing on the inside. Because when this outward man perish, I got purpose still exists. If my purpose is for God, I heard Jesus, he himself lightened on that. He said, what will a man give in exchange for his soul? It is not profitable that I can gain this whole world. If I lose my soul, I've lost everything. Are you purpose driven? Ask your question, are you purpose driven? So if I have purpose in life, if my purpose in life is to get an education, if my purpose in life is to get me a good job, if my purpose in life is to have a home, is to marry the best spouse, to raise children and more children, to enjoy life to the fullest, then I die without Christ. Yet then I fail to realize my true purpose in life. If I lose this, my true purpose purpose in life is not realized. And so I have to understand that three things are important. And when we look at these three dynamics that's going to face us in life, is the death, burial, and resurrection. Ladies and gentlemen, we will face this because as Jesus faces death, burial, and resurrection, we all will face death. We will be buried, but we will raise ourselves one day. That God will raise us from the grave. And thus we understand then, if Jesus has taken on this by him going to the cross and died on the cross for us, shed his blood for humanity, I realize that I got to gain my purpose in life by knowing that if he died and rose again, then I'm in tune to do what he called me to do. Because when I realize what his death represents, if his death represents one that died to sin, it represents me that when I die to sin. And that's repentance. It also let me know that I will be buried. And that's where it deals with the watery grave, if you please. And when I rise, I should rise to walk in newness of life. So my divine mission in life is now godly motivated. It's godly motivated because it's Christ centered. It's